Hey everybody, I'm back already because I had a backlog of comics and I try to limit my comics to 5 when I do an episode. So Mark Hazard Merc, somebody the other day actually did a review of this book. I was like, shit, I was hoping to do it. And I thought, well, who cares? Why not? Well, Mark Hazard Merc is part of the New Universe line that came out in 1986. There was an edict way above that told Jim Shooter they had to produce more comics, and he suggested a line that was segregated from the regular Marvel Universe, that there were no gods, no superpowers, nothing established until there's something called the White Event. It was like this crackly thing that hit the ground, Earth, and then you had Starbrand and Night Mask and stuff. But then some characters were just characters, like Mark Hazard Merc. It says B/J. It's got to be Joe Rubenstein, but I'm wondering if the B is Bob McLeod. I don't know. Because he usually inks himself. It's not a Buscema, but it's cool anyway. And what's even cooler is the insides are by Gray Morrow, who, at the time, you never know where he would show up. He's a guy who, he kind of took his time. He wasn't like a monthly grind sort of guy like I was, and a lot of other people. He just, he picked up work here and there. He did a lot of great stuff. I'd love to see a big, nice reproduced collection of his work. Like that hair right there. The fact that it's not even perfectly neat, it's just a nice little touch. It's sort of like a 50s ad in a way, how they would kind of sketch some of the information. So this is our main character, and as you got to read it, it has a lot of like Frank Moses, aka Bruce Willis, in it. Where he's trying to live a normal life, sorta, even though he's still a mercenary. He plays all the messages. This is Scott. I want to know you. My little league championship game is next Sunday. I was hoping you'd make it, but I've called a zillion times and blah blah blah. Look, I know you're busy. I know it, but could you call me at least? Wish me luck, Mark, Joe, and ignore Scott's messages. Of course you always do anyway. Look, the child support check bounced again. Would you please have someone else do your checks for you? And Mark, you crumb, I waited at Sardi's for 3 hours before I got it through my thick skull. You weren't showing. So he's a bit of a bastard, but he's a mercenary first. He gets another call. Mark, it's me. The gig is on. That's the one. So what's interesting, especially, is besides that, Gray Morrow is doing the pencils, the inks, and Andy Yank is doing the coloring, but it's really nice stuff. Really, I love his stuff so much. It's hard to find, I'm sure there's a list online somewhere, but back when this was in the wild, when it was coming out, it was like, whoa, Gray Morrow. So they do their Merc thing. Hey, Hazard, remind me, which country is this, and who are the good guys and who are the bad guys? Good enough now. Shut up and listen, Mal. That's the president's home, our target. And we'll have any trouble setting charges around the perimeter, or should we change the plan? I forgot to call Scott, his kid with the baseball game. That's what it's all about, my friend. So, in comes Mark Hazard Mark. And the leader says, let's talk, my friend. My friend is the code phrase he taught his wife, telling her that now that is the time to kill whoever's nearby. But you don't fake out Mark Hazard. And the daughter's in her room. The father, he tries to take him out, but he ends up dying by his own knife. And he enters. She's terrified, understandably. Your president's dead. Don't move or you'll join him. I am now in charge. The devil you are, pig bladder. I'm in charge. Don't insult the new president, horse manure. I'm next in line. I said I'm in charge. Blow each other away. This is a Peter David book, so it's got that little bit of dark sense of humor to it. At this time, it's funny because Peter David is known for doing a lot of jokey type scenarios. Well, He actually started off with some gritty stuff. I mean, he did this, and he also did, more importantly, he did The Death of Jane DeWolf and Spectacular Spider-Man. That was a very heavy story, and it was one of the early Marvel trade paperbacks that was self-published. They used to use Fireside books in the 70s. Didn't last that long either. Weird country, and judging from the noise outside, word has spread and the elections are being held. I'm in charge. No, I am. Blah, 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 blah. So she's like, Mama, Papa, where are you? Help me. And so there's all kinds of craziness going on. It's greed. It's greed. We five are the new government. Boom. Government soldiers, so bloody stupid. They were dancing on my charges. Of course, I'd say the same for the rebels, but they're paying the bills for this. So, it's one of those things. You go from one evil boss to another. It's one of those little countries where, come on, let's go. It's like whoever has the biggest gun wins, in a sense. What's on your mind? A baseball game. What? Forget it. You wouldn't understand. Hey, rebels, what's with the coin toss? We have the daughter of the late president in the room. My brothers and I are trying to figure out who gets her first. Of course, our great leader, Santos, will get her eventually, but they're basically talking about RAPE, so just disgusting. So, Mark goes, right, and she won't find out from us if we let me have the girl first, and our friend gets a second. And they push themselves out. Minutes pass. It's my duty to be older still. Quiet. Speaking of quiet, doesn't it sound too quiet? And he snuck her out. And she's horrified that she's being kidnapped, but she's actually being taken away from the house because she would be dead. She doesn't know any better. She hates him, and she's having a hard time believing his story that he's saving her life. Look, kid, obviously you know what the secret score is. The people want your folks dead, and you obliged them, yeah, and now they want you dead. And you decided not to be obliging. Typical American waffling. You expect me to believe you? Everyone knows Americans lie. You can't help it. It's ingrained. I feel sorry for you. Your parents must have kept you under lock and key, and yours must have kept you under a rock. So we get a flashback to Mark Hazard's parents, who are very elitist. And Mark he's going to West Point, and he decides to drop out, decided for a tour of Vietnam. Leave it for Point to be a grunt. Trust you to be a disappointment, Mark. Yes, sir. So I'll give you backstory. For a first issue, it really feeds you a lot of information in a good way. There's no wasted words. I mean, there's a difference. Copy heavy could be good. It could be, it could be redundant, or it can be, it can merge with the images and come out really, really well. I can say that right. Some of this reminds me of Wally Wood a little bit, storytelling there, and especially there, the boom, the ba, the ya, and there's more going on here. But man, I love Gray Morrow's art. He did Red Circle for a while. And you see she's trying to push him away, and then she gets away. They can't rescue her, and she's like, "Help me! Keep me! They killed my parents. It's the president's daughter. She's trying to distract us." So she ends up dead, and it weighs heavy on Mark Hazard. He says, I've replaced one scuzzball dictator after another. I'm disappointed. I disappointed my kid for this. Oh, geez, I don't want to hear it. Your kid knows the life you lead. You didn't disappoint him. He wasn't counting on it in the first place. Neither was the girl. I never even knew her name. The Libyan gig will have to wait. I have other plans this weekend. Tell me I'm not hearing this. The gig is government supported, big bucks, and it's got to go down this weekend. And our employers will get somebody else. Blast it, Mark, you're running money out of our pockets. It's too bad, Mal. So they part ways. Just all this. And Gray Morrow is just amazing. Well, he doesn't get to show up. You know, his mom and, his ex-wife and his son are trying to call. And I love that face there she's making where she's concentrating on her crocheting. Dad, it's Mom. Mom, it's Dad. Yeah, great. The game's this Sunday at 2 o'clock. I knew you'd make it, Dad. See you then. Thanks, Dad. Even though... Wait a second. Dad said he would come to my baseball game. Isn't that great? It is great, Gotti, although I wasn't sure... I wasn't sure there when you said you knew he wouldn't. Oh, that was when he said that he didn't want to disappoint me. So she's kind of saying, yeah, right, will happen. So now we go to the Swamp Thing post. Wen Lean and I keep on saying Kelly Jones, but it's actually Bernie Wrightson. And this is by, I don't know who did the cover exactly, but the interiors are written by Jerry Conway, who writes a little of everything everywhere. Nestor Redondo, who is a genius of the craft. He's one of the, what do they call those guys? Give me a second. I like how Swamp Thing's stuck in the back there. Whoop. Yeah, there we go. He's one of those Filipino artists that DC brought in to do a lot of their books. Golly, I would love to get a clear shot of that page. There we go. And it flashbacks quite a way, and he loses a limb there. This is back in Swamp Thing 5. I guess that was, yeah. Somehow he made it up to, what was it? Divinity Maine. So I forgot, I hadn't read those issues in a while. But his arm started to grow back. But regeneration took several days to complete and had a rather bizarre result. It creates a second Swamp Thing who is mindless. And our Swamp Thing, he got his arm back. How about that? Nestor Redondo. Good Lord. And this Native American says, "Spirit of my father, a demon." And then there's quicksand, because there's always quicksand in the 70s. And he's a child, a mindless child. So he goes to rescue the critter, who is not the Swamp Thing. It's a second cousin that came off of his arm. Man, look at, this is silly to say Kirby, but this is like Kirby storytelling, where you go here, you read that, then you go there. I guess that's one of the things that Kirby perfected way back when, and just became common language in comics. So this kid's talking about over at Benson Swamp, there's stuff. His father smacks him. I say their names real quick. Matt Cable, Abigail, Arcane, and Bolt. Now you'll know the first two names from the second series with Alan Moore and Steve Bissett. God, it's such glorious stuff. Look at all those levels. It's like, what on earth is this? Something was tugging on me like a magnet. I love that. Look at that. Now this is the other Swamp Thing who can think he's being drawn toward. Can't control myself. I'd never come to this place. Love this art. Look at the faces, the way he etches the features. And this is the guy who ran a construction site, telling the guy, the father's kid who runs a restaurant, Sloan's Diner. And they're like, has everyone gone crazy? And there's Abigail. Just trying to figure out, and these assholes that were in there earlier, they're just troublemakers. Like, remember, was it Henry Zipper in those, he was the biker in those movies with Frankie Avalon and Annette Funicello. I don't know why I would think that, but it's pretty cool. So, they're a mirror monster. There'll be 2 swamp things just smooshing about. Smooshing about there, y'all. So, I remember when I got this. I got this on a Sunday. And read it over and over again, as I was wont to do with a new Marvel comic. And there are some songs. Do you ever have like songs that remind you of certain comics? Well, when this came out, I remember it says November, which means August of 1975, I think. Let's see. Yep. And the one song that stuck with me was from Ambrosia, which was, what was it? I keep holding on to yesterday. Yesterday. I get to hear my mucus gargle around my throat while I try to attempt to sing. And, well, Bill Mantlo, Mike Esposito, Karen Mantlo letter, and translation of Spanish from George Perez, or Ivez Perez, who was George's first wife. And I think it's a really good touch. There's a little bit of gleam of a gun. Kid comes out. And he's like, on and on and on and on. Hey, wait, hold on. I lost you back at Marvelous. But I think I get your meaning. But slowing down goes a bit and try again in English. And it's a favor to an illiterate superhero. See, I speak good English. He feeds his pigeons, and it's just nice. It's a real nice touch that they're hanging out. And it's like pretty nifty, Mosquito. They do any tricks, like carry messages back and forth. See, they're, I can't say, very intelligent, very smart. But I don't like them to go too far from the coop. But this stranger in the shadows goes after Spider-Man, but his spider sense kicks in, dodges, looks around, sees no one. Senor, please help! Mosquito's crying. And that's because the assassin got one of the pigeons, and he's just crushed. And Spider-Man doesn't know what to say. Meanwhile, Johnny Storm is just going out on the who's going to be the hottest night of the summer. So he's taking a fantastic car, and a lasso tilts it over. What the hey, a lasso? Someone roped the fantastic car, flipping it over, and then he stopped himself by flaming on. He's like, what the hell? And it's Cowboy Montana, actually, from Spider-Man 19 with the Steve Ditko years. And he's got the, it's so funny looking back now. It's like, lassoing's fine, but then he burns off the lasso, and I don't know where else he got any other lasso on him, but it just seems like so absurd. It was explained somehow that it was, the gyros, I keep wanting to say the gyros. I keep going back and forth on that. The gyros must have been worse shape than we thought for someone able to resist with a fantastic car with a crummy logo. Not logo. Lasso. I guess because it sounds really ridiculous to say that, but he gets the old knockdown treatment. Fancy Dan. And so it seems to be like a regrouping of the Ditko gang. And he's watching, Spider-Man's watching from afar, all these gangsters getting pictures for JJJ. And whoever's in that side is alive. Whoever heard of a coffin with air holes? So he sneaks in. And it's the big man. You got J. Jonah Jameson is a value stamp. Hang in there, everybody. This is spine roll stuff. Makes me kooky because I don't have any fingernails on my nail biter. So he looks, and they are auctioning off the Torch. He has just enough air to breathe, not enough to flame out. And I love that angle from the eaves. I'm just wasting time here, Chuckles. Walk. You're just about my size. Yuck, imitation shark skin. Well, what can you expect from seconds? And they're like, 1,000,005, big man, 2 million. I'll pay any price for a hunk of superhero. Oh, that's your personal preference, fine. Is it over so soon, gentlemen? No, how do we know he's the real Torch? Hey, that little guy's got a point there. Maybe that ain't the Torch. Maybe he's just a ringer. What assurances can I offer you, gentlemen? The product is genuine. You have my word on it. That ain't good enough, big man. This guy looks a little too dumb to be the real Torch. I mean, I don't buy nothing until I examines it. You dirty crumb. Get out of here. Spidey. Or like I said, big man, dumb. Look at them vacant eyes. How come it ain't flaming on? Maybe this glass case you got him in ain't enough air to light up with. Back off, pard. Nobody touches merchandise. Yeah, that's it. So maybe if the glass was broken like so. I love that. It's Spider-Man. He's here. I guess there's cheap clothes. Some good old Spider-Man Torch action. And what really pisses off Spider-Man is all I know is that the real big man was a fellow by the name of Frederick Foswell. Foswell repented, went straight in the end, and died a hero back in issue 52. And you're dirtying his memory, mister. You're going to pay for that. So, the Sandman. Yeah, I'm back. I dropped my fancy costume that Jack Kirby designed, though, and went back to my old nutty outfit. Kind of out of nostalgia. So here is the Crime Master. So, I love that. Spidey, the Torch, the big man, enforces Sandman, the Crime Master. And then Sons of the Tiger. I miss these next issue blurbs. I remember I was so in love with those things. I don't know why even if next issue was shitty, it suggested fun. So that was Sucker for Comics. So Metal Men, I kind of, this book kind of came and went really fast during the DC explosion when they were coming out with everything, and they resumed numbering on series that had been canceled. But I got this mostly because of this glorious Walt Simonson artwork. And he's lettering it too. I mean, it's like the stuff he's done on Batman, and it's very much like the stuff he did on Manhunter. And what's great is with the previous issue, which I'm not showing because this one's a lot more superior, it says the original creative team was first Ross Andrew, and then Gil Kane, and then Kanigher started writing it, and it was Jack Miller, then Mike Sikowski and George Roussos. They didn't really have the flair of the first team, but the scripts turned out. Directions, they didn't quite work out. In general, the idea is described as the logo as the new Hunted Metal Men, because the band was now separated from Doc Magnus. And it's absurd. When Sikowski took over editorial scripting, the magazine became like avant-garde. The team gained secret human identities thanks to a mystery plastic, and became, basically, it was a big wreck. So we're bringing it back the way it should be, but with some fantastic new artist, Nema Walt Simonson. God, that's so beautiful. I love how he does this stuff. It's a really nice touch. And that is a really ballsy panel. I love that with the frame. And it doesn't need, like, the frame doesn't have to be like pointing out something like, you know, a target, like a faux sniper rifle. Flashback. Lovely lettering. There's Tina. She's made that. Is there any Tina? I can't remember. Oh, she's platinum. That's right, Tina. And the rest are mercury, lead, iron, tin, and gold. And they can change their shapes to whatever's needed. I like how the doc is in like this. They were scanning his brain, and he has his pipe in his mouth. Hey, he thinks better with the pipe in his mouth. There, some people are like that. So, God, it's gorgeous art. Oh. And Simonson's such a really sweet guy. Him and Wheezy are just the best. Little tease to like the Thoom 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 from Thor 337. 337. So, but I'm making a long. It's, you know, a decade later. You know, I had to get this one because it's got Chemo has returned, and I love it. He's like this big jar of radioactive goo, who was their most, probably their biggest foe. I love like how the swirls are coming along. To create like a, it takes your eye from one panel to another. And there he is. Ooh, what's that going on there? And Tin decides to make tin flakes all over chemo, whatever. And they cut his head off. Plop, using the logo from the book Plop, the comic book. And split, split. Uh-oh. Yeah, he's got a hole. He's draining fast. And thanks to Tina and Iron, they knock him out. Take out. So, the X effect. I don't have that issue, but it sounds almost like a crossover sort of thing. So now we go to, ta-da, a major surprise when this came out. Because, you know, there wasn't, I mean, there were fanzines that had previews in them, but they didn't have, like, comic shops weren't everywhere, and you'd have to subscribe to, you know, mail order stuff. And sometimes something like this would just come out of nowhere and surprise the shit out of you. And I'm like, first, I'm an Ant-Man fan. I always was. And he never got the fanfare, so to speak, that he deserved. And then all of a sudden, David McElhaney and Bob Layton decided to make a new Ant-Man and make him interesting. It's by Bob Layton. Love that. And it's penciled by John Byrne and David McElhaney. There we go. Tom Orzechowski on the lettering. Ah, so beautiful. Beautiful. And I love, you know, Bob in a Zipatone is always great. And aside from the cool look of the Zipatone, Bob Layton described it as they had such limited colors back then, a limited color palette, that he considered Zipatone a color. So that's almost like that third panel there, right there. It's almost like it's silver, even though it's a dot pattern, like two-tone. So he works for Tony Stark, but he needs to get this Dr. Sondheim to help his ailing daughter Cassie. And this guy, this thug, says, whoop, hang on a second. Says, you heard the lady, mister, beat it. At least unless you want a little persuading. And he bops him, his big old arm comes out and tosses him. Cross Technological Enterprises. Love that look of that. When I was casing this place earlier, I noticed that a lot of extremely sophisticated detecting devices. So he breaks in, he says Ant-Man's uniform. Tries it on. shrinks. Love that effect. And I love that. Look how shocked he is. He's like, oh my gosh. Oh geez. Hey guys. Why don't you guys bug off, huh? There's a great picnic at Houston 3rd. Oh, they're not attacking me. I think it's since I'm a friend through Pim's element. And again, this stuff we never got in the Ant-Man series original, even with Kirby, because Ant-Man was actually too small of a character for Kirby's bigness and boldness, and some of the covers were really awkward. I love the Kirby stuff he did. The one he did with Egghead, betrayed by the ants. That was fun. And he just sneaking around. Lands on this guy using his full strength. Wallop of a man, even though he's a tiny little bug. Oh, that's so cool. They reprinted this in the Ant-Man / Giant Man Marvel Masterworks Volume 3. That's such a Byrne thing, and it's so great. And that's something I don't think he would do later in his career. I think that's more of like when he came out of his fan art style and did really audacious stuff like this. And I'm not saying he's not adventurous anymore. It's just I feel like Byrne has done so much. It's like, how does he top himself? Because he's created so many looks and storytelling ticks. So there's this big old disturbing creature. And that's it. That's the Ant-Man. That's the Metal Man. Spider-Man, Torchman, Swamp Man, Merc Man. Let me know what you think. And sorry if I went a little off there with trying to read while I was trying to hold my comic still. But that's it. Another one so soon in the hopper. And I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts below. Let me know your memories of any of these issues. Let me know your favorite creators on the books or some of these issues that I've just introduced to you. And thanks for coming by. I greatly appreciate you spending a half hour with me, because there's a billion, zillion, gajillion YouTube channels on the internet, and you've chosen mine. And I never take it for granted. I love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.